People TV. You don't have a voice, don't come here. You better make sure your voice is heard.
Good evening, Africa. My name is Bamakore, actor, model, producer.
Go to bed, empty hunger.
To the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's law.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV, youthful, full of vigor and penchant for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents.
Corruption kills.
What a wonderful weekend it was in the world of football. I mean, a lot of football was played, and as usual, there was drama, goals, and of course, refereeing decisions. And of course, on the wrong side of football, we are going to talk about that one. It is still appalling that despite all the media campaign, we are still experiencing racism against black players, especially in 2026. You're welcome to the locker room on this beautiful Monday evening. I am Afiz Ogubanjo, and you know how we do it on this show. For the next 50 minutes thereabouts, we'll take you through the wonderful stories in the world of football. Jogo Bonito, the beautiful game, the round leather game, as we call it right here. You can call it soccer. Of course, we will let you have your way, but it is known as football. And of course, a lot has happened over the weekend and is going to even continue even today as Manchester United are face off Everton, of course, at the Il Dickinson Stadium. And yeah, like I said, I am Hafiz Ogubanjo, and I will be doing this alone. Trust me on the show today. Oluwamayowa Alao will be joining me virtually as the show goes on. We are going to dissect every story we have together. I mean, what a weekend. What a weekend we had. And just before we continue on the show today, yes, you can do well to follow us on all our social media handles. Yes, we're on YouTube, Voice of the People TV and Voice of the People TV Plus. That's VOP TV Live and VOP TV Plus. Do well to like, comment, subscribe to the channels, and of course, turn on your notification bells so you won't miss any of the exciting episodes on this show, Locker Room, and of course, our sister programs on those platforms. And we have a lot, for you today. Let's break all of it down. Let's go. And let's go into the world of the Premier League. And let's talk about this one. Is a rather sad one. And like I said, despite all the campaigns, racism, I mean, it's a big thing. It's been a big thing, I can say, since I started watching football. And it's still shocking that even today, 2026, where I expect, the world to even move on from all of this, and let's just enjoy the game of football over 90 minutes and even more. Let us enjoy what football has to offer. Let's savor the joy, the goals, even the drama. We saw what happened at London Derby, but this time around, also in the Premier League, Tolu Arokodare, that one was sad. Wolves, yes, they were up against the Crystal Palace. Of course, Wolves, their performance on the pitch has been very, very bad. They've just had only 10 points. Of course, from 27 games played in the Premier League. And of course, they lost at the Selhurst Park. But Tolu Arokodare had a chance to put the team in the lead, but he lost a penalty. And of course, since that time, he's been experiencing a lot of racial abuse. And Tolu Arokodare, the Nigerian footballer playing for Wolverhampton Wanderers, is speaking out against the racist abuse he received online after his team's 1-0 loss to Crystal Palace. And the abuse, which included vile slurs such as monkey and also the N-word, was triggered by Arokodare's missed penalty during the match, and is calling for authorities to take action against the perpetrators, stating it's unacceptable that people can communicate such racism without consequences. And Arokodare expressed this frustration on social media, saying it's still unbelievable to me that we are playing in a time where people have so much freedom to communicate such racism without any consequences. I mean, you can see that on your screen, and you went further to say these individuals should have no place in our game, and collectively we have to take action to punish everyone who thinks the sport like this, no matter who they are. I mean, even before this weekend, this has been a big topic. It happened in the UEFA Champions League, where Real Madrid faced up against Benfica, and we've been talking about that, throughout this past week or even more, where Vinicius Jr., of course, I know is always in the media. He looks like he's the darling of the media in the wrong ways. That's talking about the Brazilian winger, Vinicius Jr. He scored a wonderful goal, but then he went on, to celebrate, to dance in front of the Benfica fans. In that process, he riled them up. And of course, they showed their frustration. They were stoning him with, with bottles, plastic bottles and all of that. Even his teammates, that's talking about Antonio Rudiger, had to come and play with the fans. And then up stepped Benfica winger himself, Gianluca Prestiani, who is Argentine. And he was, captured to say something, to have said some things. He raised his shirt to say some words. Vinicius Jr. and Kylian Mbappe claimed that they heard what he said. Racist slurs, against Vinicius Jr. And of course, he denied that instantly. But then he came out later, this past weekend as well, to come and say that, that he didn't call him, a racial slurs. That he called him another word, entirely. For me, that is not acceptable. Even if you want to say something positive to a player, you don't raise your shirt. There must have been something you said. And Vinicius Jr., when they were about to kick off again, he seemed to hear those words that Prestiani said. He said he repeated those words, and he ran straight to the referee. And now, away from that, we are still, while we are still trying to deal with what, happened in that game in the Real Madrid against the Benfica. In the Premier League as well, we are seeing the repeat. Wesley Fofana of Chelsea also came out to say, to report all those racial abuse he received just because he got a red card in that game against Burnley, leading to Burnley, equalizing and getting a point at Stamford Bridge. For me, that's really, really bad. It's really bad that we are experiencing things like this. In big 2026, we should be moving on. Yes, fan emotions can come into play. Of course, anger can take the day, but then we should be mindful of what we say. These players are humans as well. It's not as if he stepped up for a penalty, with his intention to miss. I don't think Tolu Arokodare will have done that. He wants to, show his effort for Wolves. He has 5 goals in 28 games or 27 games in all competitions that he has played so far since signing from Genk in Belgium. But then, everything that has been happening at Wolves is not just on him. So why subjecting to racial abuse? He's a footballer. Yes, he's getting paid. He's training hard for him to get the positive results. But of course, why can't we look into the club and say, look, there are other things we need to deal with? It looks like they are heading straight for relegation. They are going to the championship. I think when they get there, they will be able to, gather themselves together and push themselves back to the Premier League, at the first time of asking. And this time around, this is not going to help the man. A lot of people are already coming out to say, look, he should be leaving. He should be leaving the club. That's talking about Tolu Arokodare. But of course, I want him to actually do well, and this is really, really sad. What is wrong is wrong. No matter what, you call a player, as long as it's a racial slur, it shouldn't be acceptable. And it's a shame that even in the Premier League, that is even leading with campaigns, over the time, over this long period of time. In fact, Premier League, they are very popular for, bringing in a lot of campaigns during the season. We saw the knee, taking of the knee before starting games. And this is still happening under their nose. I feel like Wolves fans themselves, I think they should be banned for this one, because this is not supposed to be happening. It's within Wolves fans, because he lost the penalty and they lost the game ultimately to a goal scored by Evan Gesson for Crystal Palace. But of course, it will be Wolves fans that are calling in things like, well, no matter who it even is, even if it's not Wolves fans, even if it's opposing fans, this should be investigated. And it's not just Arokodare, like I said, Wesley Fofana, and also Vinicius Jr., even out there in Spain. This should stop. We don't want to be seeing racism. I even thought it was a dead and buried a long time ago. And it's shameful that we are still seeing this in 2026. I mean, this really should stop. Black, white, anybody should play the beautiful game because we want to enjoy it. World Cup is coming in June. A lot of countries will be there. Not just African countries alone. We are seeing European countries, Asian countries, everybody, coming to get the ultimate prize. And this is happening right under our nose. I mean, this is really, really bad. And other clubs, including Sunderland, Chelsea, and Burnley, have also condemned similar incidents of racial abuse targeting their players. I mean, Mateta was there at some point. The black players in the Premier League. I mean, you can't blame them for anything. They want to win. They also bear what you are trying to bear. That's talking about the fans right now. They want to win for you fans. Him missing a penalty does not change anything. Fine, they didn't get the point at the end of the day, but this should not be happening. Yes, you can vent your frustration, but not in a racial manner, not leading to racial abuse. This is really bad against the players and all the players that have suffered that one. And of course, on this show, we are going to condemn that, and we hope that all the people involved, the organizations involved, should tackle this one. It's really, really sad. And the Premier League has also issued a statement saying that there are serious consequences for anybody found guilty of discrimination, and they will offer their full support with investigations. They need to do that. They need to do that because it's becoming very frequent in the Premier League. Yes, it happens in the Serie A, it happens in other leagues as well, but the Premier League, which is arguably the most popular league in the world, they should be doing better. And this incident is part of a growing concern over online abuse targeting footballers, with several players speaking out against the issue in recent days. I mean, Tolu Arokodare, I want to say from here that you should keep your heads up and you should keep doing what you are doing for Wolves. Mayowa Alao has joined us, yes, in the studio. I'm not in the studio. I mean, virtually this evening he has joined us on the show. And Mayowa, I mean, a lot of football was played over the weekend. Bayern Munich, almost trying to shame the investors, but of course they maintained 3 points. And of course, in Ligue 1, I think what I love about this weekend, Mayowa, is that in all the major leagues, maybe barring the Bundesliga, where it looks like a one-horse race, in all other leagues, it looks like the title race is really, really tough. Real Madrid, of course, I think they fell everybody's hand. They lost to Osasuna. Barcelona a season advantage with a 3-0 win over Levante. We saw what happened in the Premier League. It was 2 points and it became 5 points again. Though City have a game in hand. Bayern Munich also doing the business. And in France, Lens, of course, losing top spot. Paris Saint-Germain took advantage and won 3-0 against Metz. What was the game of the weekend? Good evening and welcome to the show, Mayowa.
Well, it's always amazing to be here. I mean, weekend madness.
A lot of madness.
Arsenal sending a message. That performance was a message that if you write off us, if you write us off, then you are probably sitting on a long thing. I mean, the performance was very fantastic. Bukayo Saka was unplayable. Eberechieze.
It seems like Tottenham, you be playing Tottenham every week.
Yeah, Goicores, that has been drawing blanks, decided to become prime Ronaldo and prime Messi. I mean, he shows how prepared the boys were. The first half, Declan Rice with that crazy mistake. Liverpool struggling to beat Nottingham Forest. I mean, Liverpool having no direction. I mean, it took last minute. It took Ngomoa to come in to change the trajectory of the front guys. Man City also struggling to win. But in any case, I mean, that is why we love football. You cannot sleep on it. Real Madrid throwing away their advantage and throwing back to a Barcelona side. I don't understand what's going on with Real Madrid. How do you lose that crucial game in that manner? I don't understand it, but Barcelona topping the league at the moment. Lens decided to mess up and decided to gift PSG the opportunity to come top.
It looks like they couldn't maintain that lead. Yeah, PSG, they are still breathing down their necks, and it looks like Ligue 1 is their birthright, and Lens might just mess it up and lose the league to PSG.
Well, I mean, it might happen, but PSG this season, they've not been consistent, especially in the league. Some games you would expect them to win, to draw. I think they've been played with a whole lot of draws, and that has really affected them. However, these are Serie A winners. They know how to get to the top and not come down again. Yeah. Probably maybe for them to hold on to that top position and ensure that they end up winning the league one. But in any case, a whole lot of football, you just have to pick and choose before, before the 1 hour runs out.
All right. Maiwa, I was talking about Tolu Arokodare. We saw what happened in the Premier League. He came out, to speak. He released a statement. Also, Wolves, they've shown his support for him. What is there in playing the game of football? Missing a penalty. We saw what happened at the AFCON as well. Yes, we can vent our frustration, but we should have been taking it towards the racial abuse. We are still dealing with what happened with Vinicius Junior, and this one is rearing its ugly head again. He was not the only one. Wesley Fofana also came out to say that he was targeted racial abuse here and there. What is going on in the Premier League, and what should the Premier League that is even known for every campaign against racism? They started the kneeling down, Black Lives Matter and all of that. They have vented their support, but why is this still happening under their nose, and what do you think should be done, Maiwa?
And this is not sounding as as somebody that doesn't care or somebody that is pessimistic. There is no way racism wins, and the reason is this: if you watch the Arokodare penalty, I myself, I'm not a fan of Wolves. I was pissed.
Yes,
that was not how to score a penalty.
Yeah,
however,
that was very bad, to be honest.
English football, in as much as they don't have this betting scandal and the rest of that, English football is synonymous with betting. A whole lot of these guys that come to follow the teams, they are passionate bettors. How many teams in the EPL have a betting company sponsor them? If I'm not mistaken, about 95% of them
they have a
betting company sponsor them. So it shows that there is a huge business in terms of betting. And majority of these guys, when they've invested their savings or their life savings on a match, and something like that happened, Arokodare misses a penalty, is now a black man. Definitely, some of them do not know when they cross the line. For the EPL, they are doing their best. We have seen them, ban fans. We have seen them, we have seen people being charged and being taken to court because of the racial abuse. But the thing is this: they can continue to build more on what they are doing. As far as I'm concerned, across Europe, I think England is one of the most, one of the most
vocal
countries. Most vocal and most compliant.
Yeah.
They walk the talk. If you are racist and they find you out, you have a lengthy punishment to serve. But will it stop? It will never stop. But at least, they are doing something, and I hope those that racially abused, Arokodare will be found out, and judgment will be served. The same thing for Fofana. Yes, you understand that the first yellow card was senseless.
Yeah.
However, these are footballers. They have emotions. They make mistakes. Everybody make mistakes. We make our own mistake where the cameras are not there, where people are not there.
Yeah.
They make their own mistake in front of people. People should understand that they are humans too, and should not be attacking them racially. It doesn't make any sense. I hope those who have started this attack and targeted them racially, I hope they are found out and they have their day in court to explain the reason why they will decide to racially abuse somebody that's giving their best to football.
Yeah. So still on this issue of racism, Maiwa, just before the weekend, last weekend, Gianluca Prestiani, he came out, to give his own side, for the issue with Vinicius Junior, in that Champions League game. He came out to give his own side, and he completely denied calling him, racial slurs. Instead, he said he called him a word within the anti-gay slur. Thereby, it is looking like, look, he might just duck any punishment that is coming his way. And I'm so, very angry also with Jose Mourinho, but that one is on the side right now. What do you think is going to be done to Gianluca Prestiani now that he has come out to claim that he didn't call, Vinicius Junior that word that a lot of people are fearing that he called him?
Well, whether it's anti-gay or whatever it is, yes, in part of Nigeria, we are total, and this is not me endorsing, same-sex marriage or whatever it is. However, in that society, that is allowed, right? And if you attack anybody that swings that way, call them, slurs as regards that, you are somehow, racist. You are somehow, you are somehow racist. You are saying that they are less than a human. That's what it means. So, in as much as he has come out to say he called him something that is regarding a slur, that is regarding same-sex marriage and the rest of that, I think it deserves to, yes, we don't know how Vinicius Junior swing. We don't know. We don't know. Maybe that will be offensive to him. However, it does not make it right. It does not make it right. What if Vinicius Junior swing that way? It means we would have attacked him. And it will be very difficult for UEFA to have pinned anything down on him because nobody could hear anything. There was no audio and there's no proof. It is your word versus my word. But now that he has come out to claim that, he has used a same-sex marriage law, I think UEFA should go ahead and fine him and punish him because of that. And the punishment should be severe. The reason for that is to send message to others not to do the same thing.
Exactly.
Whether it is racism or it is, law against same-sex marriage. Again, viewers listening, I'm not endorsing same-sex. I don't agree with it. But I mean, the society over there, they agree with it. And, you should not be attacking people in that kind of society for that reason.
Absolutely. And I mean, a lot of punishment should actually go around because this should not be happening in big 2026. And also, like I mentioned earlier, Arokodare, please hold your heads up high. Wesley Fofana as well. You'll be missing that important game against Arsenal, which is very, very crucial in the title race, for the Gunners. But then you should also hold your head up high. Football, we want to enjoy it. I mean, the 90 minutes, we love the drama. We love the beautiful saves. We love, goals being denied in the dying seconds. We love VAR, save. But this one, is the ugly side of the game, and we don't want to see this, anymore going forward. And like I said, the World Cup is coming. It's going to unite all nations. And of course, I don't know, Mayowa, do you think Nigeria has an outside chance of making it to the World Cup?
Well, we are still waiting on FIFA to come out and tell us exactly what they have been doing.
Without wait go on to June, or it will be over very soon.
Well, I mean, the playoff comes up on the 16th, if I'm not mistaken, 16th of next month. And by the end of this week, we would have about 3 weeks to that particular competition. Yeah. I think by this weekend, we should have a verdict from FIFA. I mean, I don't understand the reason why they are taking a lot of time. I mean, they should take their sweet time. Yeah. I'm hoping that it favors Nigeria and Nigeria goes through to the back door. And if you are being sincere, Nigeria does not deserve to be there. But I mean, I will take it. I'm not going to the World Cup at all.
Of course, I'll take it back the World Cup as well because we all want to see the Super Eagles of Nigeria. I mean, even though we might be facing Argentina again, but let's just be there. we want to play at the Mundial. I mean, it's 48 teams in an expanded version, and it's going to look somehow. I mean, 9 teams from Africa. It might even be 10 if Nigeria gets to qualify. If they go, or let's say it's DR Congo going through this time around, it's going to be 10 teams from Africa. 10 teams from Africa and the Super Eagles, the African giants themselves are not going to be there. I mean, that's not good for our faith. But since sticking to Nigerian players, yes, Arokodare tried to do his bit with Wolves, but there are other players as well abroad that performed for Nigeria, that they brought Nigeria, a good one, and they made sure Nigerians had good weekends. Nigerian footballers are having a great season, of course, in Europe. Paulo Nuachu, the big man himself from Trabzonspor in the Turkey League, he scored the 17th goal of the season in a 2-1 win over Gaziantep, putting him top of the Golden Boot race in Turkey's Super League. And also, Nigeria's captain, Wilfred Oyeyedi, also got on the score sheet for Besiktas, netting his second goal of the season in a 4-0 thrashing of Göztepe. And in England, where Arokodare missed that penalty, Alex Iwobi was, however, instrumental in Fulham's 3-1 win over Sunderland, scoring one and assisting another. And also, Olaino featured for Nottingham Forest, who suffered a late defeat to Liverpool. I mean, that one must have been very, very crushing. The first goal scored by Alexis McAllister, it was a clearance from Olaino, but it was claimed to hit the Argentine's elbow. But Olaino, I'm sure it must have been a sigh of relief from that one. But of course, Liverpool came roaring back, and Alexis McAllister again popped up, even though a lot of people are claiming that that was offside from Virgil van Dijk in the build-up to that goal. But just like Mayowa said, Rio Ngumoa should be getting more minutes for Liverpool. What a brilliant performance. Came on, and for me, he did more than Mohamed Salah in that game. Mohamed Salah was somehow anonymous. Nottingham Forest, they took Liverpool to the cleaners for most of the game, but they just couldn't convert. And that's how it is in football. If you don't convert your chances, especially against big sides, trust me, you might just suffer a late crush to the face. And that was what Nottingham Forest suffered right there at the City Ground. And in Cyprus, Peter Olayinka, yes, remember him, used to play in the Champions League for, was that not Zvena Zvezda? That's talking about Vesta Belgrade. And of course, he scored his first goal for Apoel. Was it Slavia Prague now? Slavia Prague, that's talking about Peter Olayinka. and he scored his first goal for Apoel in a 1-0 win over Omonia, while Francis Uzor remained on the bench, and Chidozie Awaziem played the full 90 minutes for Nantes in France, who beat Le Havre 2-0. And in Spain, Akko Adams provided the assist for Sevilla's winner against Getafe. Beautiful assist, by the way. While Umar Sadiq started for Valencia against Villarreal. And in Portugal, Zaidu Sanusi and Terry Murphy featured for Porto in their win over Rio Ave. And these performances will likely boost the players' chances of making the Super Eagles squad for upcoming matches. Maiwa, brilliant one from the Eagles players, doing really, really well for themselves, and of course, giving Eric Chell something to think about when he brings up the new names during the international break.
I mean, it was a fantastic weekend for our players. Taking back Ademola Lookman, 6 games, 6 goal contribution. What an amazing performance! Scoring again. He's not only assisting, he's also having the movement and scoring. On that true, yes, he also scored one goal in the Nations Cup, but I mean, he's tearing the Turkish league apart from his goals, and it shows that he's making a case for himself for the national team. Our own Wilfred Ndidi, doing it for Fenerbahce and doing it for Besiktas and scoring goals. Apart from being a maestro in the midfield, he's also contributing goals. And remember, he also scored in the Nations Cup. And these are the kind of things we would want to see from our player. Our own Iwobi, 2 goal contribution, 1 goal and 1 assist. Going to, yes, Liverpool already broke that jinx, broke that fortress when they went to Sunderland and defeated Sunderland at home. Now, Fulham has gone there to be able to get vital points, winning 3-1. It was a
fantastic in that game.
Iwobi was very, very fantastic in that particular game, and it shows the kind of quality he has. Unfortunately, I'm hoping that FIFA will pity Nigeria and let us have the opportunity to go to the world. How do we have all these players? Ademola Lookman, 28, fine on us cylinder. Osimhen in Turkey, in Galatasaray, fine on us cylinder. Paul Onuachu, even though Jerry does not like him, fine on us cylinder. Iwobi, fine on us cylinder. Akko Adam, providing the assist.
Assist, of course.
I mean, Peter Olayinika, yes, he's not part of the Super Eagles at the moment. Scoring goals. These are the kind of things we want to see, and these guys deserve a place at the World Cup. Unfortunately, they have an FA that doesn't care about them. I mean, one of them, one former assistant FA, came out and was slamming Eric Chell, that Eric Chell's contribution is nothing. That it was because of the player. And look at that.
He should bring his own.
I'm wondering.
He should bring his own.
Yeah.
These are the problems we face in this country. What else do you want the man to do?
I mean, and this same person comes from the region Buso comes from. He is from the same region.
That answers the question.
This same person is eligible to contest as NFL president. I mean, I will call him out. Gara Gombe, Soraibu Gara Gombe. I don't understand. These are people that should not be nearing football at all. He should be on a farm doing cattle rearing or maybe farming. He should not be. Take it easy. Not go close to football.
Take it easy.
I mean, how can you come out and say something like that when, if you know anything about football, you will not say anything. And he showed, and that is the state FA chairman, former state FA chairman of Gombe, saying that. And this person is eligible to be elected as NFL president. If they want to do this, their quota system again, they might say it's the next person that should come from that region.
And those words should be against him, because I don't know what you're expecting from the man. You put a man on the line of fire and he has delivered, and now you are saying he has done nothing special. What else do you want him to do? What happened to our own coaches over here? I
mean, somebody asking for 24-hour slides, projector for analysis, internet service.
Very basic things.
And you come out as the former state FA chairman to say that. I'm so ashamed. These are kind of people that should be banished from football. They should not be near football. I don't think he knows anything about football. And yet, he's enjoying the largest of football. It's just unfortunate that we find ourselves in this situation. It's just unfortunate.
I mean, I don't even think he's the only one. Even when a senior man that has been there for 8 years, served 2 terms, and he saw the state of the stadium, and he's saying it clear that he likes it. He said he's proud of what he has achieved. No, if someone can say that, then what else do you want those that are even under him to say? If you as the big boss can say that, And he also, in a way, is eligible to come back again and run for the same presidency.
Obviously.
And those are the people that want to be representing us. It's time to actually take a stand, because this is going to ruin our football if it continues like this. I mean, I don't expect anyone to have something to say against Eric Chell.
I mean, if you look at the press release, you'll be wondering, how did anybody, sit down and think this is an appropriate way to speak to a child when the demand is making, and Firewood says the $130,000 is asking for includes the money he will be paying his coaching crew, his staff, out of the money. How can somebody be slamming a chair and say a child did not do anything? It's even a child decided to use Nigeria to boost his CV, and Nigeria should be asking for compensation. When we moved from Osimhen FC, before the Nations Cup, we were Osimhen FC. At the Nations Cup, we were anybody can score. We scored
Exactly.
14 goals.
Exactly.
And somebody from Gombe, everybody from Gombe, this is not a reflection on people from Gombe.
No, much respect to the people from Gombe.
Much respect to the people from Gombe. But Shuaibu, Gara Gombe, it's a bad representation of Gombe State, to be honest with you. I'm really, really disappointed.
I mean,
that person should not be going close to football.
I mean, very, very disappointing. I mean, what else do you want the man to do? He is asking for basic things that even should be provided. That alone is a slap on the face of the NFF. It shouldn't even be coming out. It's an indictment. 19-point wish list, and all those ones are things that you should be providing on a regular day. These are things that other coaches abroad are enjoying. He is not even asking. He's asking for access to being in the local league to watch his players, because we have been saying it here that we want to be seeing NPFL players involved in the national team. He wants that, and now you are coming out to say that he has done nothing special. What's the business? What he's done?
I mean, one of the requirements, one of the demand, please pay me my salary latest on the 30th of the month. Does that even make any sense?
Does that make any sense?
Are we even supposed to be having that kind of conversation?
I don't
and
understand.
Gombe is not addressing that. He's busy attacking himself. It's just so unfortunate.
It's like we have one of these people in every system, don't we?
I mean, it should not see football in Nigeria. Sit down on millions of dollars, right?
Yes.
People like Schweib, Gara Gombe, people like Gusau. Well, let me even leave Gusau alone. I mean, Gusau is not the one that made the statement. People like Gara Gombe himself should not be going close to that kind of industry, because the statement shows that it doesn't know anything about football.
The mentality is really important, and with mentalities like this, it won't work.
Yeah, I said it consistently here. Majority of the state FA chairmen, they are clueless about football. They are just there because of some political godfather. And that's just it. How would somebody that knows anything about football will come out and slam a chair and still be walking around and be parading himself as a former FA chairman? It's just a shame.
It's a shame. And of course, these are things like going forward, we don't want to be seen, attached to our football. Our players are really doing well. They want to also play for the coach. It's time to make the Super Eagles attractive, to be very, very honest. And this man has been doing it ever since he has gotten there. Even if you look at the strikers, for example, he tried to partner somebody with Victor Osimhen. He tried to release the burden of Osimhen. He tried with Cyril Dessers. Okay, that didn't really work. Victor Boniface, yes, didn't really work out as well. Also tried with Arokodare, and until he found Jerome Ako Adams, who was unfancied before he was even called up, by Eric Chell. And what else do you want this man, to do? He's just asking. He wants to stay, obviously, because trust me, if he doesn't want to stay, he will get the nearest offer. That is why he changed his agency. He's going to get the nearest offer, but he's still trying to offer you something. Things that you should be providing. Somebody is coming. It's not even Nigeria. And it's not even about being Nigerian at this point. Somebody abroad is coming to come and tell you what to do. That is a big slap on the NFF. And instead of you to address that, sort that internally, you are coming out to come and claim all of these things. I mean,
Super Eagles coach does not have a projector. Super Eagles coach, national team coach.
We love the people of Gombe, of course, it's one Nigeria, but this should not be happening. They should seize him and talk to him, to be very, very honest. And let's talk about still a Nigerian player, but unfortunately, the Super Eagles of Nigeria can't claim this player anymore. And we are talking about Honest Ahano, of course, the talented Atalanta defender, has turned 18 and is now eligible to play for Italy's senior national team. Born in Italy to Nigerian parents, Ahano's path to representing Italy was previously blocked due to immigration laws, but is now set to receive an Italian passport and switch his registration from Nigeria to Italy. And this development comes after Italy's head coach Gennaro Gattuso revealed last year that Ahano's lack of passport was the main reason he wasn't selected for the squad. And Ahano, considered one of the brightest young defenders in Italy's top division, has impressed with his performances for Atalanta. Right, they're playing 16 league games and 6 UEFA Champions League matches this season. Nigeria has attempted to recruit him last year, but he was focused on representing Italy. And with his new eligibility, Ahano could become a key player for Italy, and coach Gattuso has been keeping an eye on him. Ahano's versatility, speed, and strength make him an attractive prospect for the Italian national team. I mean, this is like another case of one that got away. And with Ahano's, representation with the Azzurri, I think this would be the third Nigerian-born player. We have Destiny Udogie of Tottenham is there. Honest Ahano now, and of course, Michael Kayode. Mayowa, this is a case of one that has got away again. And of course, I said somewhere that they tried to poach him. That's talking about the Super Eagles, but it seems like they just didn't do enough, or maybe they don't believe in his talent because he's young.
Well, if I were honest, and I saw a press release from Shuaib, I will not come to Nigeria. I will not come. It's the truth.
Go on.
I will not come.
Yeah.
I'm not going to come. If I were honest, and I see the way, Gusa and his team is running football again, I will not come. A federation that can't get you a coach, that have to wait for 11 months before they get a coach. So I will not come. To be honest with you, see, in as much as I've said it consistently, and, I don't appreciate people taking Nigeria as second choice.
Second choice, yeah.
Most of the guys, most of the foreign-born Nigerians that came to play for Nigeria, no disrespect to them, all of them came to Nigeria because their first choice country, bounced them. Ademola Lookman is part of them.
Yeah.
Ademola Lookman is part of them. And it disgusts me that is happening, that's the kind of national team we have at the moment.
Yeah.
However, if you look at how football is being run in Nigeria, no sensible person who has seen how football is being run in the same place will want to come to Nigeria. So, I will not blame the young man. He has a prospect of playing for a team that is well organized, a team that knows what they are doing, a team that General Gattuso will not be crying about. A team that General Gattuso will not be crying about internet.
Yeah.
A team that, a country that General Gattuso will not be crying about visiting stadiums to watch matches. A country that General Gattuso will not be crying about the salary of his own and his staff. Definitely, I want to choose that kind of country because those are countries that are serious about football, not a country that is not serious. So I will not blame the young man. He's a good player that has gone away, but I won't blame him for making a decision to represent me because, what we have at the moment chases away a whole lot of talent.
And just like I mentioned, 3 players right now, being linked with the Azzurri. Destiny Udogie is always called up for the national team. Kayode Michael, brilliant player for Brentford this season, especially with his long throws. What a player. And of course, now Honest Ahano. I think this is going to also inspire Nigerian players, I think Nigeria-born players playing for Italy, that they can also make it within the national team. And I think it's a good one generated by the Italians. That's talking about the Azzurri now and Gattuso, saying that, look, even though you are not, fully Italian, yes, you might not have Italian parents, but of course, we can recognize your talent. And don't you think it's also sending a message to the NFF that, look, try to identify talents, Nigerian-born, even if they were born here or not, especially let them be born here, because we want to see that more going forward. Don't you think that we should be sporting talents rather than doing the quota system?
I think we have to start sporting talent. And that is the reason why when an Amaju Pinnick come out and begin to say some things, I begin to scratch my head. Amaju Pinnick killed our football pipeline. It was under Amaju Pinnick's tenure that the Super Eagles become a dumping ground and became a dumping ground for people who do not have chance for their preferred country to come and play. And that is just it.
Including convince somebody's father.
Going to beg somebody's dad to come and play for us. And the same person now is struggling with Aston Villa. I mean, when we can grow talent from home, our age grade competition is dead. No, and it's not only dead, the way they treat them, it will shock you that the camp allowance of under 17 is 1,000 for themselves. The same thing is happening to the girls. That is as bad as it is. They are, you wear a jersey now, you wash it, dry it, and wear it for the next game. That is how terrible it is.
Very terrible.
When was the last time our under 17 produced any player? When was the last time that happened? If the coach wants to ensure that he meets up with the S-grade coaches to be able to fashion out how to get players, and somebody decided to sit down in Gombe and be writing. I mean, the Gombe guy there, the more I think about it, just
you are not going to have enough of this Gombe man, even as we go towards the end of the show. But of course, there are teams from Gombe also do well. Let's talk about the NPFL. Rivers United. They seem to be very, very, very lucky at this point because they have 4 games in hand, and the teams above them are actually slipping up and not getting enough points. Rivers United, Ikorodu City, and Enugu Rangers, they dropped crucial points in the MPFL matches that were played. That's talking about match week 27, tightening the title race with 11 games to go. And Rivers United drew 1-1 with Eimba in Port Harcourt, while Ikorodu City were held 1-1 at home by Bayelsa United. I mean, that was poor from the Oga boys. And Enugu Rangers couldn't break down Katsina United, settling for a goalless draw. Nasarawa United took advantage. They were the only top 4 team to claim all 3 points, edging Bendel Insurance. And the Solid Miners moved level on points with Rangers, but still behind the Ikorodu City at the summit. And the top 5 teams remain tightly bunched, with Ikorodu City leading on 45 points, followed by Enugu Rangers, Nasarawa United, who have 44 points. Rivers United, with 3 games in hand, having 43 points, and Abia Warriors are also making up the top 5. And the NPFL title race is eating up, with 6 teams having lifted the trophy in the past and are feeling that they can do it this time. I think this is good, for the NPFL. Good one, not just a one-man team this time. But Remo Stars, Mayowa, before I wanted to touch on what has been going on at the top, let's take a visit to what's going on at the bottom of the league. Remo Stars are now 20th because Kun Khalifat won their game and Remo Stars lost by 2-1. Can you see it now that the writing on the wall is clear? Remo Stars are going to the NLL. Can you confidently say that now?
Well, I mean, I hope Remo Stars will not buy slots. We have a problem with selling of slots in Nigeria. An NLL team that is promoted will sell their slot to Remo Stars, and Remo Stars will now rebrand. They might become a Fizz FC, and you'll be seeing them in the PFL next.
But we don't want to see that.
I mean, it happened last season. It has been happening this year, and I hope it does not happen. And not because some of this NNL club, they don't have the cash, they don't have the power, the wherewithal to maintain the status in the NPFL. So they sell their slot. I hope it does not happen, because if it happens, Remo Stars are supposed to go to the NNL, we buy their slots, rebrand their name, and they are back in the in the league. Yeah. Also, it goes a long way to show the lack of organization we have. Remo Stars practically sold all their players, and I will not blame the owner of the business, because you're in the business to make profit.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I think it's Ikorodu City or one of these clubs that the GM was on the show, and they said if they qualify for intercontinental competition, they have to go and start begging the Lagos government.
They don't to find Barra.
Yeah, that is how difficult it is to stay in the league. So I mean, in as much as it is graceful that last season's champion is currently battling with relegation, it shows the lack of standard that we have in the NPFL. However, if you are not good enough, you should go to the NNL. And I hope the LMC will not allow slot buying this time around.
Hopefully they will not allow slot buying. But what do you think? What do you feel at the top of the table? Because do you still think that Finidi George and Rivers United can pick this up, especially now that they don't have continental football to think about? And what do you think? Do you think the Enugu Rangers, Ikorodu City can mount a serious title challenge? Because having a 3 games in hand, I think that's a lot. But it seems like day 2, that's talking about Rivers United, are not taking advantage. One of their rescheduled games, they drew 1-1. We saw what happened with Kwara United. And of course, the NPFL body, they decided to punish Kwara United, after that one. But this time around, Do you still feel like Rivers United are going to go all the way and pick this one up entirely at the end of the season?
Well, I mean, our league, I hope our league does better. If Rivers, there are 11 games left.
Yeah.
That's 3 points. They have 9 games in. They have 3 games in, and that's about 9 points. Total 41 points, and they're on, they're on 43. If they win all those games, they end up at 88. How do we? And I'm not 100% sure that they will win all their games. Probably the league champions will probably be on a 70, 72 points. And league champions will probably be on 72 points.
Yeah.
That shows how poor our league is. And this away and the home syndrome.
Will you say poor? Will you say poor or competitive, Maiwa?
No, it's not. It's not competitive. It's poor. To be honest, it's poor. Apart from this weekend, that we had a couple of draws. I think we had about 4 or 5 draws this weekend. It's always home team wins, and it goes to the fact that there is no proper planning around team traveling. How do you travel from Remo to Maiduguri, and you have just less than 24 hours to play, and we expect you to win? Vice versa too. So I've said it. The current format of the league that we are running should not be. But that is by the side. Don't let me digress. I think Rivers United, they have it in them. Finidi just has won it before. And they can do it again. They have 3 games in hand. And they have 43 points. And the other teams that are supposed to be chasing them, they are also slipping up. They are not winning their games.
Yeah.
So I think the league is Rivers United to lose. And if they lose it, it will be terrible. I don't think they would, because the experience of will come to.
We'll come to play. All right. I want to, if the producers can be so kind, I want to see. Let's just go through the table after match week 27. For the NPFL, because it is our league, and of course, I don't want to agree with Mayowa. He called it poor, but I want to call it competitive, because this is what we want to be seeing, not just one team leading with about 16 or 17 points. But let me take you to the table after match week 27. Ikorodu City, yes, they are on top, of course, with 45 points. Rangers are in second, and of course, we have it on the screen now. Ikorodu City, yes, after 27 games played, they have 45 points. Rangers International have 44 points. Nassau United also 27 games played with 44 points, tied with Rangers, but Rangers having a superior goals difference. Rivers United, however, is 4 games in hand. This shouldn't be happening anywhere at all. I mean, you are claiming that you have continental commitments. There should be periods, set aside. There should be days set aside for you to come and play your games. Abia Warriors, however, have played 27 games, and they round out the top 5 with 43 points, tied with Rivers United. And trust me, I don't think Rivers United will lose all those 4 games. So they might still get to the top of the table after they play their 4 games and they are level with matches played. That's talking about 27 games. Bendel Insurance, 27 games played, 38 points in 6th place. But let's go to the bottom side, the bottom 4. Bayelsa United, 27 games played with 31 points with -6 goals difference. Kun Khalifat, of course, they won this past weekend, and also have played 27 games, 28 points, 3 points adrift, or 4 points adrift of Kano Pillars. That's talking about safety. Remo Stars, however, 19th place, 27 points from 27 games. And it's not as if they drew 27 games. They lost a lot. They lost 16 games, and they have a -10. Mayowa, quickly before we move on, this should be the worst, defending champion in the history of the NPFL, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. It's the worst, and it goes to show that you have to build on success. You don't rely on academy players to get you through. Yeah. You need to pair academy players with experience, and they did not do that. However, from a business standpoint, I will not blame the owner. There is a need to run the club, and kudos to Remo Star. They are one of the teams that are not doing Bambi Allah or owing anybody, salaries. Yeah, a lot of these teams that we are talking about here, most of them they owe people salary. They are not owing people salary, so I will not blame them. In as much as it leaves a bitter pill in my mouth. I mean, on the side of welfare, they are doing so well.
Absolutely, and kudos to the MPFL on that one. I mean, time has been fast spent on the show, but let's quickly talk about Arsenal before we round up. Arsenal bounced back from a disappointing 2-2 draw against the Wolverhampton Wanderers with a 4-1 trashing of the rivals, the North London rivals, Tottenham Hotspur, restoring their 5-point lead at the top of the Premier League table. Eberechi Eze, who seems like he always scores Tottenham Hotspur, it seems like he wants to be playing Tottenham Hotspur every time of the week. And of course, Victor Gyökeres also he scored a brace, with Eze's goals being particularly sweet, given his pass connection to Tottenham. And Mikel Arteta praised his team's ability to stand up to pressure, saying that they showed what they are made of when it matters most. And Maiwa, before you go, what do you make of Arsenal's title challenge? Do you still think it's in play? And of course, Manchester United will be playing Everton at the Hill Dickinson Stadium today to round out the fixtures, of the Premier League. What do you think is going to happen in that game? And do you think that Mikel Arteta's side can go all the way? City, they are 5 points behind with a game in hand. What do you make of this one as we round up the show today, Maiwa?
Well, for the Manchester United game, Manchester United wins that hands down. And 3-0 in favor of Manchester United. I think they have enough quality.
They can do it. They've shown they can.
Yeah. And they will be, Manchester United would have,
safely
put a distance between them and the chasing pack in the Champions League spot. For Arteta and and Arsenal, I think the game against Man City determines who wins the league. It's going to drag on till that April 28th, if I'm not mistaken, April 28th game between Man City and Arsenal. That is where the league will be determined. Arsenal has it in them. I think they can go all the way to win it if they, if they put in that same performance that they did yesterday. They are on the right track to win the EPL.
Of course, thank you so much, Maiwa, for coming on the show today, and let's do this tomorrow again.
Well, it's always amazing to be here, and I'm hoping United does the magic later in the evening. Thank you for having me, Hafiz.
Absolutely, and of course, I want to say thank you also to the guys behind the scene for making this show a success. It's been a wonderful one, and of course, we are going to be rounding up from here. Up next is Political Lens with Chukwuma Okoro. I am Hafiz Ogubanjo, and this has been Locker Room. Stay tuned, and of course, have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye for now.
Nambo ezigbo nwa afọ Nigeria ka ihe m ga-eme pụrụ iche.